In this problem, what they ask us to find is a parallel and perpendicular line going through the equation negative 3, 4. In other words, they tell us to find a parallel and perpendicular equation for the given, which is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. But first, let's find part A. We know that the equation is in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And when lines are parallel, they have the same slope. And we just evaluate this coordinate into this equation. And it will look like this. 4 equals negative 2/3 times negative 3 plus b. And now we just simply find b. So we first have to do is multiply according to PEMDAS, which is negative 2/3 times negative 3, which is the same thing as 6/3. And we know that we can simplify that even further and that will equal 2. So the equation will now look like this. 4 equals 2 plus b. Now what we have to do is leave the b alone. In order to do that, we subtract 2 to both sides. 2 minus 2. This side crosses out. What we do to one side, we do to another. 4 minus 2. And that will give us 2 equals b. So now we know the y-intercept, and we know that the slope is negative 2/3. So the equation will look like this. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. And that will be the equation, the answer for part A. And now we need to find part B, which is a perpendicular line. We know that when lines are perpendicular, the slopes are the opposite, which means that negative 2/3, or the opposite of negative 2/3, is positive 3/2. And we simply evaluate this coordinate into the equation y equals mx plus b. So it will give us 4 equals 3/2 times negative 3 plus b. And we know that 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Divided by 2, 9/2. And the equation will look like this. 4 equals negative 9/2 plus b. And we know that negative 9/2 is the same thing as negative 4.5. And the equation will look like this. 4 equals negative 4.5 plus b. And now we simply add 4.5 to both sides to get this b alone. And what we do to one side, we do to another. Simply add this. And 4 plus 4.5 is the same thing as 8.5. So 8.5 equals b. So we now know what the y-intercept is. And we know that the slope is 3/2. So the equation will look like this. Y equals 3/2 x plus 8.5. So this is the equation for the perpendicular line for part B. And this equation is a parallel line for part A. And these two equations are the answers.